Welcome to the DevReady Podcast, where we're helping non-techs build better tech. With me today, I have the pleasure of Youssef Jalloul. Welcome, Youssef. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Anthony.
It's a pleasure. So I met Youssef about 6 or 8 weeks ago at Stone and Chalk in Sydney,
Yeah,
and I was down there
yeah,
for a trip. He had an interesting story, and thought it'd be great to have a chat and just learn a bit more about what he's doing and how he's approached things over his career. So over to you, Youssef. How would you describe your career to date and sort of your current title and what you do?
yeah, definitely. Well, I'm going to take you back to how it all started. It's a bit of a story, but I think people like origin stories, you know? So when I was in university, when I was in studying, I started my own hydroponics farms, and it was kind of a venture between me and a friend, and we did some investment, and it was the first of its kind in Lebanon and in the MENA region. We had his father was a agricultural engineer, and we designed the platform ourselves. And from those, then I exited, and I was working on them as I was studying. So I exited. I sold my share in around 2005, 2006, and that's when I graduated, and I decided to start off in a tech company where I was doing I was on the business side because I had studied code, but I wanted to work on the business side, and I started off with a couple of social projects. Like we were doing a social card where people can get different discounts and different benefits when they buy a card. It was interesting. It was the first interaction for me with tech because we had a small platform to keep the database of people. It was a VB platform, I believe, back then,
That's a while
and
ago now.
yeah, a while ago, and we had it connected to a plastic card printer. So we had to print on the face and on the back. So every time anybody would buy a card, we'd have to print it and then package it and send it out. It was a nice experience when you come out of college. Like you feel like you're doing something, working.
And
And
seeing probably a physical card is one step further than programming, because you're actually seeing something in the real world,
yeah,
where
exactly,
programming, you never get to see what actually you're making.
exactly. Yeah, then I moved out of Lebanon. I went to Abu Dhabi, Dubai, then Abu Dhabi. Dubai was for 6 months. Abu Dhabi was for 3 years. I established a tech company there. It was a development company, and it was booming with real estate. You know, the Gulf and the tall buildings that they have. So around every corner there was a real estate company, and I was selling websites for crazy websites and corporate identities, and it was a real boom until 2008, where everything took a dive.
Yep.
So I decided to come back to Lebanon because my base was in Lebanon and my team was in Lebanon, and the sales was mostly to the Gulf. I came back to Lebanon. I focused and I started investing in more platforms because I built a medical system. I built an e-learning platform. I built an e-commerce platform back then. So there were a lot of different investments in tech that I did up until and I was getting clients as well. So it was kind of like survival mode where you get clients to pay, but launching products to get cash from them. So
Yep.
basically, trying to make them into cash cows. In 2015, I pitched there was a grant in Lebanon for tech startups. So I pitched an idea of an accelerator. So it was a merge between a coding bootcamp and an accelerator where we take fresh graduates who studied computer disciplines. So it could be computer engineers, computer scientists, MIS, management information systems professionals. We teach them how to code because there was a gap in the market. In university, they'd learn theoretical knowledge, but when they go to the workspace, they didn't know how to code. They didn't have any practical experience. They didn't have any standards. And we had a good team to teach them that. So we applied, we pitched for that grant, and we got it. It was a big grant to build this accelerator. And from 2015 till 2019, we were able to train 400 entrepreneurs.
Oh, well.
So we teach them how to code, then give them the startup roadmap, and while they were in the program, that they had to code their MVP. So we had around 100 MVPs. Not all of them were good ideas. And then we'd support the ones that we felt would do well in the market. We'd support them with resources. We'd support them with some cash, some in-kind services. And yeah, by 2019, we were doing really well. We were trying to branch out, but sadly, we had a financial crisis in Lebanon. Uh, I don't know if you heard about it.
Oh, not.
Um,
I might not.
yeah,
I don't remember too much.
yeah. Well, basically, all the cash in the banks got locked up. Similar to what happened in Greece,
Yep.
but there still isn't a solution
Okay.
to the problem till now, and we couldn't get the cash out. So we had to close down and consolidate. We had helped almost 7 to 8 startups launch, and I had also invested in startups in the market. So the best thing to do was to consolidate. And then in early 2020, COVID hit. So we were just consolidating, figuring things out. And that's when I decided to come back to Sydney because I'm Australian. I lived
Yep.
here. I went there when I was a kid, and I had 2 kids, and I was married. So the best thing to do was to bring the kids to somewhere where they didn't have to grow up with all the turmoil and all the things that were happening.
Yep.
And it took us around 2 years to get on the plane and get here because of the backlog that was happening because of COVID and all of the delays and the flight problems that were
Yeah,
happening.
it was a mess. They're
Yeah,
probably still trying to probably get smooth in certain parts of the world as well.
yeah, 100%. So I came here around a year and a half. It's been a year and a half, and this year and a half, like with all that I've been through, it was another year and a half of self discovery, of figuring out what I want to do, and I decided like why like I'm interested in AI. I've worked in AI. I've worked on projects in Web3, and this is what I wanted to focus on. Like I wanted to build in this space because I believe that this is the tech of the future. Like in the next 5 to 10 years, everything is going to shift in that direction. We're going to be mainly using tech in Web3 or AI tech. Everything's like we're seeing it now happen. So
It's
this is,
definitely shifting in that direction.
yeah. And since I have experience as as managing an accelerator and having a venture builder in Lebanon, I decided why not do that again here? Why not invest in services and in experience and in mentorship? Yeah, and this is what this is what I'm planning to do, leading up to like if I'm gonna do this, I have to put my foot where my mouth is and basically prove that I can do it myself. So there are some ideas that I'm investing in myself. One of them is a tech is an AI travel and activity planner called Actively. It's a B2B app, and the target is not just businesses, but also governments and councils and small areas that want to boost tourism. Like the main problem that we're trying to solve is that a lot of these small towns around Australia, they print flyers and they print brochures. So when they have anybody come in, uh, they have to pick up these flyers and brochures to figure out what they need to do, and that's still archaic. Like it's not environmentally friendly. It might be outdated. Like you can't engage with the users. There's a big gap, and what we do is through a QR code. Like people can scan a QR code, they get sent to a website, and this microsite will tell them about the area, and then will plan trips using AI and using their preferences around the area. So this is how we're solving it, and to help councils stay engaged with these users. So if there's anything new, if there's any event that's going on, if there's any news that they want to publish, they can. If they want to collect data, uh, like collect emails for a newsletter, collect mobile numbers to stay engaged with these people, they can. In addition, for businesses, let's say travel agents, This is a value added service they can offer their clients who are traveling, who are coming into Australia right now, because the list of places is based in Australia now. For hotels, for instance, people they come, they stay in a hotel, but they don't know actually what the services are, and they have those menus and those catalogs next to you. So now also you can scan a QR code in the hotel, and then you get a list of the services that they offer, and it plans around the hotel and around the area.
Is it just
So
making
that's
it
it
all
in a
more
nutshell.
accessible?
Yeah, right now. We've partnered with a startup down in Adelaide called Seller, and they do dynamic QR codes. So basically, we're blending our text together, where they provide the QR code system, and we're providing the AI planning and microsite engine. And yeah, we're pitching together for councils. We have a couple of pilots that we're working on, which are probably in the works, and hopefully it'll go well.
Oh, nice. It's a problem because I know, when you go any regional area, there are those little information kiosks or different areas,
Yeah,
and outside of certain shops, they have all like the wall of brochures and all the things you can do in those
yeah,
areas. Yeah, so
yeah,
having that one site rather than having to go and Google and actively go and find all the information, because some
yeah.
people will do that, but then having it all aggregated in one place and making it more accessible, I can see the benefit to that.
100%. And if you look at our generation, like the younger generation, we don't look at brochure. We don't see them when we're passing. We don't see the information centers. We don't approach them. Like 90% of the people, based on studies, that approach the information centers are seniors, you
Okay,
know.
I did not know that.
So yeah, and even it's costly to run the information center.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you need a
they're
staff, there's power, electricity, the facilities. Then, like
exactly,
you said, there's the
exactly,
printing. If they're out of date, how do they cancel or recall? They can't.
100%.
Yeah, lots of other problems there. So when I met you, you did like a launch at Stone and Chalk on that event. Has everything been going well since then?
Yeah,
You
well,
mentioned,
we were able to connect with a couple of startups and connect with a couple of people, and we have the collab going with Seller, and that resulted from Stone and Chalk. Stone and Chalk
yep.
have been very helpful.
Oh, that's good.
They really, it's more than just a co-working space, it's a community, and they help build up the startup with you. So they introduce you to different people, and it's always hustling and bustling, so you always meet new people, and it's
Well,
interesting.
that's what you want. You don't just want a space where you're going to work in quiet because you can do that from
Yeah,
home. You need a
yeah,
place to work,
exactly.
but then if there's a community and there's actively people all going through a similar journey, just at different phases, you can all learn from each
100%.
other.
100%. Yeah, a lot of like one of the main issues with being a founder of a startup is founders blues. So there are a lot of ups and downs, and there are a lot of people that are questioning you, and you're questioning yourself. So being a part of a community that's just pushing you to move forward, it's very helpful. It's very helpful.
Yep. So just touching back onto say your first venture, that hydroponic farm, you said you sold out and you moved into tech. Was there any tech in play in the hydroponic farm, or were you just sort of running the business?
Very, very
Or how did that?
archaic tech, man.
Yeah,
It
how did that
was like
transition from that business to then tech start?
like my parents had a development company, so I came into the family business. So basically, I graduated from college. I had a bit of money, and since my parents had a tech company, like I had nothing to do, so I started going to the office instead of applying to jobs, and I kind of stuck around in the office for a while. Yeah, and it gave me the freedom of exploring and doing what I feel to explore and find myself, instead of going to a job and being in a certain role and being developed in a specific way, mentally.
Yep. Well,
So
having that
yeah,
flexibility is not something that's
yeah,
available to everyone, which is probably very unique in being in that position.
yeah. It wasn't a big company. It was a small company. Like we were focused on building a software that helped people read and write Arabic, and we actually got an award for it a couple of weeks ago. So in the beginning, we had like 4 or 5 devs just focusing on that, and we built it on. It was built in VB. Like when we used to install it, we used to take CDs and like
Yep.
yeah, in computer labs, like put in the CD, and then We upgraded to a flash drive. Then later in 2011, we invested in developing it into a web platform, and the web platform we were able to scale. So in the beginning, we were training like 30 people at a time because we needed centers and NGOs to that we can
Okay,
deploy the system in and bring people in. And yeah, after 2011, we trained around 7,000 people. Like within 6 months, the the software teaches people how to read, write Arabic in 35 hours. And in
it's very
back in the
quick.
Middle East, there's a huge illiteracy gap. So a lot of people are illiterate because of displacement, because of being refugees, because of poverty going around. So yeah, we're able like to train huge groups of people because it became web, and we had mobile centers. Like we had laptops that would go into areas with modems, with SIM card modems, and then we'd give them internet. They'd go on and they'd just start studying, and in 35 hours, which is around a week, they'd start reading and writing. A lot of times, the younger generations would catch on much earlier, yeah, because it's
It's a really
computer-based
accelerated
learning.
time frame to learn. And children, their brains are a bit more malleable, and it's easier to pick up sort of different languages and stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, the business model sort of just transitioned to scale. It didn't really change too much. It just allowed you to
yeah,
reach more people
exactly,
with less infrastructure requirements, effectively, because you don't need the
exactly.
physical spaces. That's pretty cool. Good way in the. So congratulations on the award as well.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
So
it was well deserved.
from your time running that accelerator up until 2019, what are sort of some of the key takeaways or learnings that you had there that you're using in actively or in some of the other ventures that you're getting involved in?
Yeah, well, this one is said a lot, but I don't know if people take it to heart properly. Like build fast and fail faster.
Yep,
You have to fail as fast as you can so you can iterate and know what works. I would say do as many experiments as you can. So I have a rule before investing in something. Like a lot of founders, they come in and they have an idea and they want to invest $100,000 or $200,000 into that idea because they see it's like the best idea in the world. And but it's not about idea; it's about the problem, and it's about if the market is ready to solve that problem or not yet. So can you find that user base to pay you for solving their problem? So I would say do many experiments, like cap them at $1,000. So if you have an idea to build an app about something, an experiment would be doing a survey. A lot of people they forget about the basics, like no, why do I need a survey? This is what works. But it actually like this, you need to base it off other people's opinion because sometimes you're too deep in the pot and the water is boiling and you don't feel that it's boiling,
yeah.
right?
You're not building the
Yeah,
product for yourself either. You're
hundred
building it to
percent.
serve the customer. So as you said, asking what
Yeah,
other people want, you're
yeah,
solving a need of other people. Otherwise, you'll have a product
exactly,
of for yourself.
exactly. Another type of experiment would be like instead of building a full product, build a WordPress site and get people to sign up and see how they engage with it. Doing providing the service before building the product, like physically. Like a lot of products are service-based products. Like instead of providing the product, go do the service and see will people pay you to do that service, how much they're willing to pay. Yeah, so those are the two main takeaways, I guess. Yeah, and like most importantly, find a team that works and not something that acquiesces together, like a team that contradicts each other and but that know how to agree on a certain path to go forward with, because nobody like two people can't agree on everything 100% of the time, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but
think
they
that's
should
important
be. Yeah,
that you said they sort of have to contradict. It's more having the different point of views and being able to
exactly,
explain your reasoning or your thought direction to the other person. And
exactly.
it's not a matter of convincing the other person. It's just putting forward the best argument that's there to serve the outcome that you are for that business or product or that feature or that
Yeah,
function or whatever you're doing at whatever level it is. You do it all
yeah,
the time. Like we run a team of 6 in Australia and a team of 30 in Nepal. and we're designing products. There's questions that come up during development, and it's just, all right, ask 2-3 people, get different opinions, because just because I've said something doesn't mean it's right. And just
100%.
because you see me as the boss doesn't mean that's my decision. My decision is right either. You have to have different people there to serve the outcome, and you need people to pull each other up.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly it.
the other kind of teams probably which are a headache and you want to avoid are the ones that just say yes to everything. So whether
Yeah.
they disagree with each other or not, we've seen what we call rescue projects that come to us from other teams, and the previous team just said yes to everything the client asked for.
Yeah, yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, depends on the type of person or the type of client. Because sometimes when you're working with clients, you tell them what they should be doing, and it takes them a while to figure it out.
Yeah,
And that's what you like. What you don't want in a startup. You want to be moving fast, breaking stuff, and then fixing the problem later. Because nothing is not fixable, and nothing is perfect. So as much as you think it's perfect, it's going to be tweaked, it's going to be changed down the line.
yeah, and then as you said, sort of if you're doing like a WordPress prototype or a different kind of prototype, and it moving fast is one thing, but knowing that you only have 3 customers, so something takes 20 minutes in actual time to do when someone signs up is not a problem when you have 3 or 4 or 5 customers. It gets to a point where then you need to improve a system and go back and tweak that thing
Yeah.
and make that improvement. But a lot of people don't think like that. They try and build the ultimate version of what they're doing from day one.
Yeah.
And whatever you start with is never where you end up. You pivot
Yeah. Yeah.
every conversation almost, depending on who you're speaking to potentially, as you're refining the idea until you get to that point of that market fit.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Definitely.
It's an interesting journey to take an idea and then commercialize it. And yeah, you've seen probably hundreds of different ideas across the accelerator. As you said, there was 700 people that went through it and then
Yeah.
getting them off the ground. Are any of those startups still running at the moment or operating that made it?
Sadly, no. Like there were some beautiful applications, but they all got just eaten up in the financial crisis. We had an application called Urus, like the Lamborghini. We
Mm-hmm.
named the application before the Lamborghini came. Yeah, so it was a fitness app, and there was four young fellows doing it. Like they were 22 to 25, and they were doing an excellent job. They went out. It was based on influencers, on fitness influencers. So they'd create custom packages for these influencers, and then they'd help them market them on Instagram on a profit sharing basis. That picked up very fast. Like in the first month, they got 500 users signing
Oh,
up,
wow.
and then the next month they got like 1,500, and it started rolling so fast and growing. But like when you don't have cash, everything gets sucked into the black hole. You know what I mean?
Yep. They
Yeah. So
couldn't,
it
were they monetizing at that point or they weren't up to that point yet?
no, they were the clients were paying clients, so they had some cash coming in, which was good. Like I think they had 2,500, then around 5K the next month, and they were growing.
Yep.
But there were a lot of costs because when you're producing, when you're filming, you have teams
Yeah,
working.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
content cost then.
and they were sharing the content, like everything they generated with the influencer, so the influencer would get half of the thing.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, they hadn't gotten to that scale where they could probably support it. That's
No, they
unfortunate.
couldn't.
That's probably another thing some people listening out there have to understand is there's certain things that are outside your control, which will affect. In that scenario, it's a financial problem within the country. But
Yeah,
there are other smaller problems you have to deal with as things come up as well.
yeah, definitely. There, every day there's a problem. Like every solution creates a new problem.
That's a
You
good way to
know,
put it.
yeah. So you solve something, and then something else pops up because you solved this something,
Yeah.
and
And then
that's
you're
why
like,
the team has to be able to connect and communicate properly. And you mentioned something before, like about the first 3 to 5 clients, and it doesn't matter how they're onboarding, but it's very important to listen to them because they're the ones who are paying you for whatever you're building, for whatever they're using. And you have to tweak and adjust to their needs because they are the persona that you're going to target in the future.
yes,
So if you're
correct.
building a platform for medical clinics, let's say, and doctors are mostly using it, or nurses. So this platform, they're going to tell you what they need in it and what makes them comfortable to use it. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to take that feedback on board. If you've got 3 or 4 or 5
100%.
people, if everyone gives you a different idea, run all the ideas by all of them and see which goes into your roadmap. If
Yeah,
you've got prospective clients, and that's things to add to your roadmap and help you pitch. And it is important. As you said, they're committing to the product, they see the value, and they see what else you could do to help them, not what you think is something necessary.
exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people we've seen, they focus on what they want or what they think, sort of like with the blinkers on, and don't realize that you need that input from those stakeholders to guide the direction to then get more of them into the platform.
Yeah, of course, man. The stakeholders are the most important player in the whole game.
Yeah, and
Like
getting this
even
feedback
when
early,
you
like you
build,
said.
yeah, like when you build your lean canvas or your business model canvas, like there's a huge section about the who you're targeting, and then you build a customer persona, and you're getting deep into their psyche and what they think and what they feel and stuff like that. And these are the basics that I'm talking about that a lot of people miss. They just bypass them. Okay, so I know I'm targeting doctors, let's say, and doctors are they're doctors. We know what doctors think, but no, a doctor is a person. A doctor could be an introvert, could be an extrovert, could be like there are subclasses within those personalities, and you want to focus on a niche market before you think of providing the consumer with everything you have.
Yep.
Yeah, and that niche market, you need to build something, like you need to build a cult around your product. You need people to love it, and then when those people love it and they swear by it, you can scale onto other personas.
Yep. Yeah, you need, I don't know how to word it. You need that, not that just persona, but the problem with without having that refined niche persona is you start thinking that your addressable market is the entire world, or it's some huge number which looks good on a
Yeah,
PowerPoint, but it doesn't sell anyone on anything about where the actual market size or fit could be, because you can't sell
exactly,
anything to everyone. Doesn't matter if it's the same industry.
exactly.
Yeah,
A
that's
good exercise, like when you're building your pitch deck, and then you do the tangible addressable market, and then the SAM size, serviceable addressable market, and then the size of your actual market, and you see that market, like how big it is on a scale of the globe or a country, and then how small it gets when how it shrinks, and that's what you should be focusing on. And when you're in very early stages, it's a tiny dot within all of that.
yeah. But then
Yeah,
yeah, having that focus will help you refine your pricing, understand how many customers you can actually attain in your first year potentially,
yeah,
or 6 months. Not just saying, all right, we'll have 100,000 users in a year, or whatever you just put on the pitch deck to make it look like it's a profitable business.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Like in the end of the day, whatever you put on the pitch deck, it's the financials that they want to look at.
Yep. And they want to see at
Yeah,
least you've thought it through, you've
and
understood.
100%, and the team. Like I believe, okay, like if you're solving a problem and you have a solution and these are your features and blah blah blah, but if you're not making the bottom line, then all of that isn't working, you know. So this is what investors look at, like where is the bottom line? What is this company doing month on month? Are they growing? What's the scale they're growing with? And then they look back. Okay, so the team, where did they come from? What did they do? Like, do they have the experience? Do they have the pedigree? I call it pedigree because, like, I believe the best kind of team is a business expert from within a certain industry, and then the technical expertise, and that's why you always need a co-founder to match. So yeah, the business expert will not only bring in the business knowledge, but also he'll be able to speak the language of that industry which you're in. It's very important.
Yep.
Yeah, because there are a lot of terms, there are a lot of things that even if you know how to build the best product in the world, you're gonna miss out on those, like the salt and pepper of it, which will make it relevant to uh, to your target audience. So yeah, there's a lot to be done. It's not an easy feat, man.
No, it's not. There's
Yeah,
never an overnight success. A lot of people say that, but there's always
yeah,
years or decades of hard work before that gets you to the point of being deemed an overnight success.
100%.
So, what's next for Actively and yourself?
Actively right now, what I'm doing is I'm pushing for pilots. It's hopefully we're gonna implement one soon, like soon within the next couple of weeks. Because yeah, I need the client to try it out. Like we've had discussions with different clients. This is a need. Like they wanna scale or change from the old ways they were doing things from VIX, visitor information centers, and printing flyers, and they want to try this out. But it's just getting them to get there. Sometimes that takes a bit of a time. And I'm right now, like what I'm doing is I just developed my website, and I'm gonna launch it in the next couple of days. It's gonna have two things basically. So one is a venture builder, and the second thing is gonna be a scale up program where I'm gonna help startups and founders scale, like put a framework to scale their startup to solid returns month on month. Yeah, so that's my focus. Like I like to be in the space where I'm working with a lot of founders and a lot of different people and just getting different ideas and working with them.
It's
I believe,
I was
yeah,
gonna say it's an exciting space to be in.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
Like
So,
there's always something new, and helping out people. Like I meet founders every day, at least two or three per week. So it's always finding people who are passionate, but you feel that sometimes they're going in the wrong direction, or they have huge dreams that they want to do from now. That like you have to bring them back to earth and help them get on a right path that will give them something to look forward to in the future, because
yep.
it's not what you think it is.
No, I can guarantee the people who started Facebook, so Sergey and Larry, didn't think they were going to build the business that it is today. They were just trying to build the best web indexer.
Yeah,
It's never what you start with is never where you end up. As long as you
yeah,
listen
hundred
to the
percent.
people and the customers you're getting and you move in the right direction, then you
Yeah,
can get to that final picture. But you have to start somewhere and start the right way.
yep, exactly. And here in Australia, there's a lot of support. Like you have the MVP grant, you have accelerators, you have incubators, you have different things. So there's a lot of support coming in from different places, and this is like people should take advantage of that. They should know about this, because it's very hard to build it alone, and when you have all that support, you don't need to be alone.
Yeah, of course, it's going it on your own is very hard and will be a lot harder than it needs to be.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Yusuf. It's been an amazing chat. If anyone wants to reach out to find out more about you, how can they do that?
Well, I'm launching my website soon. It's going to be yjventures.au. So yeah, they can go on the website, and like I don't know, should we put our should I give them an
Yeah,
email or
yeah. Well, we can put the links in your in the show notes as well. But yeah, if you
yeah,
want to give out your
sure.
email or on LinkedIn, people can how to find you.
Yeah, LinkedIn, and the website is perfect.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you, Yusuf. It's been a great chat.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Really nice chat.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.
Bye bye.